Jai Hind. I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the Chanakya Dialogues, English. You know, Americans need to look at this hypothetical scenario. Will the United States of America accept a foreign power inimical to the United States of America to have bases? Watch on what India is doing, especially regarding the Rahul Gandhi case. The United States of America is watching this case very closely. Well, we're watching you. Hello friends, Jai Hind. I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the Chanakya Dialogues, English. Please like this video, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. First of all, thank you for all your love, your support and your blessings. This is the first episode of our daily broadcast on our YouTube English channel. The first news that I'm going to cover is about Donald Trump. Now, there has been indictment proceedings against Donald Trump. And what does this mean actually? This essentially means that the jury that's dealing with this case has said that there is enough evidence to initiate criminal proceedings against this former president of the United States. Now, as an Indian, there are 2-3 points that I'd like to point out here, which are very serious and which make me think aloud as to what the US is doing and why. First of all, he's the former president. And if your laws allow for criminal proceedings against a president, so be it. But the United States of America says we are keeping a very close eye, a very close watch on what India is doing, especially regarding the Rahul Gandhi case. The United States of America is watching this case very closely. Well, we're watching you. We're watching you, USA. Rahul Gandhi, loses his member of parliament seat. That is a court order. And through a court order, you want to put Donald Trump in jail. You want to put handcuffs on your former president. And that's all right with you. That's what I'm saying. You see, this has many fallouts. And I think the United States of America needs to understand. Today, Iran and Saudi Arabia have reinitiated diplomatic relations. A deal brokered by China. Some deal is being brokered by Russia. Where is the US? The US clearly has lost pole position because of the nonsense that it does, under the garb of foreign policy. You want to bring democracy to the world. You destroy nations because you want to bring democracy everywhere. You want to bring democracy to Iraq. Look where Iraq is today. You want to bring democracy to Libya. Look where it is today. You wanted to bring democracy to South America. Look where it is today. Wherever you have tried democracy, the people have suffered, millions have died. So please, ensure that there is democracy inside the United States of America. Forget about the world. I don't like Trump too much myself. I'll be honest with you. But one thing I'll say, he says, make America great again. How do you become great? You become great by looking out for yourself. You become great by ensuring that all your resources go towards making America great. Its infrastructure, its armed forces, its people, jobs for the people, the economy. Your economy is suffering. Right? Your growth is, the lowest in the last 3 decades. So where are you going with all this? You're trying to put a former president in jail and you say, okay, this is our legal process. Well, if Rahul Gandhi has been removed from his Lok Sabha seat, this is our legal process. And I think mutual respect is called for. You can't just say America is looking at you. No, America, India is looking at you. Watch out. The Indian government has shown interest in building Vladivostok satellite city as part of Prime Minister Modi's Act Far East policy. Now, this is interesting. India is trying to build a satellite city in Vladivostok, which is a port city, which, by the way, China claims as part of China. There is no part of Earth that China does not claim as part of China, but Vladivostok is a main port city, a historical city where India wants to build, it wants to partner with Russia and build a satellite city. Now, this is what the news item says, that India has expressed interest in building a satellite city near the strategically located Vladivostok in Russia's Far East, including ports, roads and energy infrastructure as part of PM Modi's Far Act East policy. Moscow and New Delhi are also discussing the possibility of launching a trans-Arctic container shipping line and processing facilities along the Northern Sea Route, NSR, according to the Russian Minister for Development of the Far East and Arctic, Alexei Chekunkov. The ministers discussed an alternative route to transport cargo from India to Europe. Not by the southern or western route, but by the eastern route and NSR using both Russian and Indian port facilities. The cost to ship container from Vladivostok to India is 30% lower than from Moscow. So this is what it is. This is about trade. India builds a port city. India builds roads. It builds rail transport infrastructure and says that, the cost of transportation from Moscow to India is 30% more expensive than Vladivostok to India. So this is what India is aiming for. I think India, with Indian currency being accepted in more than a dozen countries across the world, and they're saying that, we want to do trade with India. India is also saying that we'll help you financially, but you trade with us in Indian rupees. So all this has also got to do with India's increasing geopolitical heft, India's diplomatic heft. Also the fact that India is looked upon as a power center, that India chose to speak about, the global south in the G20 summit, and the fact that India comes across as a neutral partner. India says, we're neutral, we don't support Russia, we don't support Ukraine, we support peace. Now, obviously, this has many bias because this is what the world needs. The world does not need a United States of America or a Europe or the NATO people financing Ukraine and giving them weapons. What they need to do is pressurize both Russia and Ukraine to come to the table. Now, what is happening, I'll tell you. A lot of people may ask me, they'll say, Major, you were saying that Ukraine should talk about peace, but hey, it was Russia that invaded Ukraine. That's right. Should Russia have done it? Absolutely not. It was wrong for Russia to invade Ukraine. But you're not going to stop a war by funding Ukraine. You're not going to stop this war by giving weapons, because what is the end game here? What do they want? Let's get to the basics. Every war should have ideally a strategic aim. It should have an end game that this is what we want to achieve. Now, Russia is stuck in Ukraine. That much is true. But ladies and gentlemen, what I want to bring out here is something slightly different. Something slightly different. And what I'm trying to bring out here is this. What America does not want, or what the Western countries, especially NATO, what they do not want is Russia to back off. Had that been the aim, I would have said, yes, give weapons to Ukraine. What they want is, without getting a single American or European killed, without getting one single NATO soldier killed, what America and the Western allies want is one thing. They want the breakup of Russia. And that is not going to happen. Russia has thousands of nuclear weapons. It can't happen. But this is where they are pushing the Ukrainians. So thousands of Ukrainians have died and thousands of Russians have died. And again I say, I do not believe and I do not agree with the fact that Russia invaded Ukraine. They should not have done it. But the fact of the matter is, look at Russia's point of view. You want to place NATO units inside Ukraine. No country will tolerate this. Just imagine, okay? All my American friends who are watching this, our NRIs and OCIs who are watching this. Just imagine if China were to say tomorrow, let's say China says that we want to have a naval base in Mexico here. Assume a weird scenario, hypothetical. Let's say China says we want a missile base in Mexico. America will invade Mexico the next day. They'll not wait 24 hours to invade Mexico. America has done it in the past. And this is what is happening. If America, just ask yourself this hypothetical question. It may never happen. Maybe it can't happen at all. Americans need to look at this hypothetical scenario. Will the United States of America accept a foreign power inimical to the United States of America to have bases in Mexico? Mexico has a coast. Why can't China fund a naval station there? Of course, China can fund it. There's no problem, and Mexico will be happy to have it. Mexico has a cash crunch. It has an economy that is seriously impacted. What if China starts building roads and railway tracks inside Mexico? What if China starts exerting diplomatic influence? And I'm sure it already must be doing it. How will America react if China decides to put, its kinetic options? Let me put it this way: kinetic options in Mexico. Or what about Canada? What about Canada? Let's say tomorrow Canada says that we're looking for other options. There are realignments happening all over the world. We no longer think that our future is with America. What if the Canadians say that, hey, I think it's not a bad idea to have great relations with China? Where does that leave America? So, the only way to stop this Ukraine conflict is get both parties to the table. The kind of war that the Europeans and the Americans have foisted upon Ukraine, again I say this with a great deal of responsibility, and I truly feel that the Russians were wrong. But the Russians were provoked. Why would you put NATO troops in Ukraine? Why would you allow Or why would you want Ukraine to join NATO? Where does that leave Russia? Russia had to attack. It was wrong, but Russia had to attack. Any country would have attacked. I mean, there was this deluge of refugees coming from East Pakistan into India. There was a deluge of refugees. India wanted to go to war, but they said, no, let's give peace a chance. It was only after Operation Changes Khan launched by Pakistan that India decided to attack in response East Pakistan, which now is Bangladesh. There's always a trigger for every war. There is a trigger. The trigger was refugees coming into India. So this is not an example that can be compared to Ukraine-Russia conflict. But the fact of the matter is, the trigger was NATO interference in Ukraine, with Russia saw as a direct affront, Russia saw as a direct threat to its sovereignty, and Russia did what in military terms is called a preemptive strike. This is what they did, and this is how it is today. In Pakistan and Karachi, Ramadan is going on. There was a food distribution or zakat distribution that was happening. Zakat is the alms that are obligatory upon Muslims to give to the poor. So zakat distribution was happening in terms of food, and there was a stampede and 12 people were killed. Very, very unfortunate that even in this day and age, there is so much of desperation that people would kill and die for a simple thing that all of us take for granted, that is food. But the problem is that Pakistan is so mismanaged. It is so terribly mismanaged that you have people dying for food, and on the other hand, you have Tim Hortons opening in Islamabad, and perhaps the longest lines in the world. People have money to spend in Pakistan. It's just a very, very mismanaged country. Now, 12 people die in food riots in Pakistan. How sad is that? And here is a government in Pakistan. That wants to keep Imran Khan out by any means necessary. What the Pakistanis should do is have an election and let the Pakistani people select and elect whoever they wish to select and elect. It's their problem. But these problems in Pakistan, the food riots, people killing each other, dying for food, spiraling inflation, Pakistan about to default or has already defaulted, political uncertainty, the diplomatic compass going round and round and not pointing north. All these things are happening because of political uncertainty in Pakistan. This is why the IMF is not giving money to Pakistan, because IMF does not know what will happen. They don't know whom to talk to in Pakistan, actually. This is the problem that India has been facing with Pakistan for such a long time. And IMF knows that whatever money they give, this will simply go to Dubai and London, because the people who are ruling Pakistan are thieves and robbers. And Imran Khan is not wrong when he says that we are being ruled by thieves and robbers. Imran Khan may have, a lot of flaws and a lot of faults. Every human does. But the fact of the matter is that Imran Khan himself is not a thief. Personally, he is not a thief. And it brings me a great deal of sadness. There is a great deal of sadness when I see that small children being killed because of food riots. But then Pakistan must get rid of this obsession with jihad, of this obsession with fighting against India. I'm telling you with a lot of responsibility, ladies and gentlemen, that had Pakistan, managed not friendly but even neutral relations with India, Pakistan would not be having this problem with onions selling at 150 and 200 rupees a kilo. And other food items being so costly that the common man is not able to afford. Even the government schemes, I've seen so many Pakistani YouTube videos, and it was covered in Pakistani mainstream media also, that the subsidized flour that the government of Pakistan is giving is actually not fit for human consumption. It is actually something which is a waste product, which is meant for animals to consume. It's not meant for human consumption at all. But the Pakistani government is doing this on a regular basis. That is the level of desperation. Had they had decent and normal relations with India, everything would have been all right. We would have opened up Wagah border. We would have opened up a border with Rajasthan and Sindh, that border in between. And trains and trucks would have gone to Pakistan carrying food items, and we could have traded in Indian rupees. Where's the problem? But you shut down trade. You as in Pakistani leaders, you shut down trade with India. You shut down trade because of this mad dream called Kashmir. And now it's coming back to bite you. It's coming back to bite you, and you don't know what to do with it. You don't know how to manage this. Even Imran Khan, should he come to power tomorrow, there will be political stability in Pakistan. Of course there will be. And the will of the Pakistani people, would have been respected. But the fact of the matter is, it's not going to get Pakistan long-term out of the economic mess that it finds itself in. Because you need to go back to the basics. There have to be systemic changes in the Pakistani structure. And no country in South Asia can survive without excellent relations with India. I'm not here to say that India and Pakistan should be friends. I don't care either way. My country's economy is the 5th largest in the world, and in the next 5 years, we're going to be the 3rd largest economy in the world. We are sending rockets and satellites to space. We are planning to build, satellite cities in Russia. India is progressing very well. Thank you very much. If the Pakistanis want the food items, their cost to come down, they want to get out of diplomatic isolation, there is only one thing. Listen to what India says. I'm not saying agree to whatever India says, but at least listen to what India says. And we should listen to what Pakistan says. Let's talk to each other. And this Kashmir card has failed because, as you see, Muslim countries have said we are not interested in Kashmir any longer. Saudi Arabia, the heart of Islam, says we are not interested. The richest countries in the world, Muslim countries I'm talking about, UAE, the Gulf countries, they say we have nothing to do with Kashmir. Right? Indonesia, the biggest Muslim country in the world by population, says we have nothing to do with Kashmir. It's only 1 or 2 madmen in Turkey and the entire Pakistan that is obsessed with Kashmir. Kashmir has no takers. I'm not saying forget about Kashmir. If you love Kashmir so much, please keep saying Kashmir, Kashmir, Kashmir. Please, continue sending in terrorists into Kashmir if that is what you want to do. Please keep on saying Kashmir in the United Nations, but then don't crib, don't complain that we have no food to eat. Because your problems inside Pakistan are a direct result of your policies towards India. Be friends, everything will be okay. Be enemies, things will go from bad to worse, and Pakistan will default sooner than later. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching our first episode. I hope you like this episode. And if you do, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much for watching. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram, Bharat Mata ki Jai.